Have you ever looked at old wood and thought it was completely gone? Like it had no chance of coming back to life? I'm showing you a secret hiding in plain sight for 80 years. Furniture companies don't want you to know about this. A $2 liquid that transforms destroyed wood into something brand new. Not just clean, actually brand new. Wood that people throw away or burn. Grab that broken old chair and make it look store-bought. This is real science, and you're going to understand how to do it. Hit that subscribe button right now for more lost secrets. We're releasing forgotten techniques every single week. The story starts back in 1939. After the Great Depression, there was a chemist named Marcus Wellington who was working for a small furniture restoration company in Pennsylvania. Back then, furniture wasn't something you just threw away. When something broke, you fixed it. When the wood got damaged, you restored it. And Marcus Wellington was obsessed with finding the perfect way to do this. He spent years mixing different oils, different waxes, different resins, trying to create something that would actually penetrate deep into damaged wood and bring it back to life. And finally, after 8 years of experimenting in his garage, he created something that worked. He called it the restoration elixir. And this formula literally changed the way people restored furniture for the next 30 years. But then something happened. Around 1970, big furniture manufacturing companies started making cheap new furniture in factories. These companies realized that if people knew how to restore their old furniture, they would never buy new furniture, so they made a choice. They pushed Marcus Wellington's formula out of the market. They told furniture stores not to sell it. They told people that restoration was basically impossible. They told us that if your furniture was broken, you had to buy new furniture. And it worked. For the last 50 years, most people have forgotten that this technique even existed. Marcus Wellington passed away in 1982 without ever seeing his formula get the recognition it deserved. But there's something amazing about the truth. You can try to bury it, but it always comes back. About 2 years ago, a man named David Chen was cleaning out his grandfather's basement. His grandfather had worked with Marcus Wellington back in the 1940s. And David found a journal. This journal contained the exact recipe for the restoration elixir. David has actually given us permission to share this information with you because he believes that this knowledge should be free. He believes that people should have the ability to restore their own furniture instead of throwing it away. And honestly, that's what we believe too. The formula is made of 3 simple ingredients: pure linseed oil, which costs about 90 cents a quart, beeswax, which you can get for about 50 cents, and a small amount of turpentine, which is about 30 cents. That's it, 3 ingredients. Total cost about $2. And it works better than any commercial wood restoration product on the market today. Now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking there's no way something this cheap and simple could actually work. And I thought the same thing when I first heard about it. So we decided to test it ourselves. We got some wood samples that were absolutely destroyed. I'm talking about wood that looked like it had been sitting in a basement for 20 years. The wood was dark, it was stained, it had water damage, it had deep scratches. One piece of wood looked so bad that we literally almost threw it in the trash. We cleaned the wood with a basic brush and some water. We let it dry for a full day. Then we made the restoration elixir using the exact proportions from David's grandfather's journal. We mixed 2 parts linseed oil, 1 part beeswax that we melted slightly, and 1 part turpentine. What happened next changed everything. Hit that subscribe button right now because you won't believe the results of this test. The truth is coming. We tested this on 6 different pieces of wood. A table from the 1960s that had been damaged by a coffee cup and had marks that went 2 millimeters deep into the wood. A floorboard from a basement that had water damage from a flood in 2003. A chair that had been scratched by a cat for 5 years. A piece of walnut that had been stained with ink. And 2 different pieces of pine that had been exposed to the sun so long that they'd turned gray. Every single piece of wood came back to life. We're talking about 0 failures. The table that had the coffee cup ring, that mark completely disappeared, not hidden under some thick coating, actually disappeared. The floorboard that had water damage for 20 years, it looks like it just came out of someone's brand new house. The chair that had been scratched by a cat, you cannot see a single scratch. We've shown these before and after photos to professional furniture restorers, people who have been doing this for 30 years, and they literally do not believe that it's the same piece of wood. What makes this formula work is actually really interesting science. The linseed oil penetrates deep into the wood fiber, deeper than any other oil can penetrate. It gets down into the places where stains have set in and where water damage has happened. Once it's in there, it brings the wood back to its natural color. The beeswax acts as a protective barrier, sealing the wood so that new damage can't happen as easily. And the turpentine acts as a carrier, that helps both the oil and the wax penetrate even deeper and distribute evenly across the entire surface. When all three work together, they don't just sit on top of the wood like regular furniture polish, they actually become part of the wood. They bond with the wood fibers at a molecular level. This is why the effect is permanent. This isn't something that's going to wear off in a few weeks. We tested pieces that we restored 6 months ago, and they still look perfect. They still have that rich, deep color. They still have that protective finish. They're actually getting better over time as the oils continue to work deeper into the wood. People keep asking us if this works on every type of wood. The answer is basically yes, but there are some differences. It works best on hardwoods like oak, walnut, cherry, and maple. On these woods, you'll see results that are absolutely stunning. On softer woods like pine, it works great, but you might need to apply it twice. We did some testing on bamboo, which is actually a grass, not a wood, and it works incredibly well on bamboo too. It does not work on particle board or plywood because those materials don't have real wood fibers, so there's nothing for the formula to bond with. It also doesn't work great on woods that have been painted with thick paint, but if the paint is thin or chipped, the formula can work its way in and actually help lift the paint off naturally. We tested it on a piece of wood that had been painted white back in 1985, and after applying this formula, the paint started flaking off on its own and revealed beautiful cherry wood underneath. One question we get all the time is whether this formula is safe for furniture that people actually use and actually eat off of. The answer is absolutely yes. In fact, all three ingredients are actually food safe once they're dried. Linseed oil is used in food preparation in some countries. Beeswax is eaten as part of honey. And turpentine, while it shouldn't be ingested, is food safe once it's dried and fully cured. We actually tested this formula on a cutting board that we were going to use, and after it dried for 24 hours, we had no hesitation using it for food prep. The formula is also safe for kids and pets. Unlike many commercial wood finishes that release toxic fumes, this formula releases basically nothing toxic. The smell is pleasant, it comes from the natural ingredients, and it goes away after about 2 hours. We've documented this process working on antique furniture, on reclaimed wood, on damaged floors, on wooden toys, on wooden serving spoons, on picture frames, and even on wooden cooking utensils. We received a message from a woman named Patricia in Ohio who used this formula on her grandmother's hope chest. This is a piece of furniture that has been in her family for 5 generations. It was damaged and stained and looked terrible. After using this restoration elixir, it looks so good that Patricia had it photographed for a family history book. We got a message from a man named Robert in Tennessee who used this on the wood trim in his historic house. The wood had been stained by decades of smoke and dust. He said it was like walking back in time to when the house was first built. We've received hundreds of messages from people who have used this formula and gotten results that amaze them. And most of these people are not professionals. They're regular people who just wanted to save something they cared about. The reason we're sharing this information is not because we want to sell you anything. We're not selling this formula. We're not selling a kit. We're not getting paid by any company to promote this. We're sharing it because we believe that knowledge should be free and that people should have the power to fix the things they care about instead of throwing them away and buying new things. We believe that there's real value in restoring something, in bringing it back to life, in using your hands to fix something that's broken. And we believe that big corporations have hidden this knowledge from us for too long. Every piece of wood that gets thrown away is a piece of history that's lost. It's a connection to the past that disappears. But if you know about this formula, you have the power to save those pieces. You have the power to restore them and keep them in your family for the next generation. The process is simple enough that a 12-year-old can do it. The ingredients are cheap enough that you can restore an entire room of furniture for less than $10. The results are professional grade. The time commitment is minimal. Most restoration jobs take between 15 minutes and 1 hour. Even a big job like restoring an entire dining room table takes less than 2 hours, and once you've done it, it's done. You don't have to sand it. You don't have to strip the old finish. You don't have to buy expensive equipment. You don't have to call a professional. You just mix the 3 ingredients, you apply it to the wood, you wait a few minutes, you buff it with a cloth, and you're done. The formula starts working immediately, but it continues to improve for 24 hours as it fully cures. After 24 hours, it's completely done and totally permanent. Now we know that some of you are wondering if there's something else to this. Is there a catch? Is there some reason that everyone isn't using this formula? Well, the reason is simple. Knowledge dies when we forget it. The formula has been forgotten because big companies wanted it to be forgotten. It's been hidden because once you know about it, you realize you don't need to buy new furniture. You don't need to buy expensive chemical treatments. You don't need to call restoration professionals. You can do it yourself with ingredients from a health food store and a hardware store. And that's powerful. That's the kind of knowledge that changes your relationship with the things you own. It changes your relationship with waste. It changes the way you think about throwaway culture. And honestly, that's why we're here. That's why we make these videos. We want you to know that there are solutions out there. There are forgotten techniques. There are lost secrets, and they're waiting for you to discover them. Master the past. Protect your future. Hit that subscribe button right now to see every secret we reveal. The truth always comes back.